Hi, I'm Dan Weedin. Welcome back. I missed last week because something happened with my Google Hangout. It didn't want to work. I think I fixed it because here I am, live and in person again, on your screen, and I've gotten confirmation. I got on early, and I got confirmation from both the Daves I have in the audience that I am heard and seen, and so it's good to be back. My apologies. I think I know what happened. It was a technology issue that I'd been having. Long story short, I think I got that fixed because obviously I'm back here again on a Monday at noon Pacific time, which is the goal of every Weedin Unleashed. Now I will tell you, next Monday is Memorial Day, so I haven't made plans yet. I might be doing this on Tuesday, because the following Monday I'm definitely out of town. So I don't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. I'm probably going to look at trying to do this at a later time during that week. Heck, I might still just do it on Monday. I'll send out a notice this week. So all of you who keep track of that, I'll let you know, because I definitely don't want to miss 2 weeks in a row. But normally we're here every Monday at noon Pacific time, and I'm going to jump right into today's topic. It was a fun one. I've gotten a lot of responses via email, a lot of responses via LinkedIn, and a couple just here recently. So let's jump into it. I was traveling last week to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. My first trip to Sioux Falls, first trip to South Dakota, actually, is what I meant to say. And I was really excited. I had a new client that I was going to be speaking to for a couple of days. And I found myself on the second leg. There's no place apparently that flies direct to Sioux Falls necessarily, at least from Seattle. So I had to catch a plane from a small puddle jumper from Chicago to Sioux Falls, which was about an hour-and-a-half flight. I found myself sitting in there in what seemed to be a very cramped quarters. I'm just under 6 foot tall, and I don't know how somebody 6'5" would sit in there. Maybe they do, I guess, but it was cramped and a little uncomfortable. And so I'd been already on a 4.5-hour flight, and so I was ready to get to my destination. Opened up my magazine, started looking a little bit through it as we took off. And for whatever reason, I always like to look out at cities as we leave, and Chicago is one of the great cities here in the United States. And as I looked down, something in me just said, hey, slow down, look around, and understand what's happening. That I was traveling in a vehicle, which was a transport, that had lifted me off the ground, heading straight up to 35,000 feet, or whatever we were going to do, at an impressive speed. And I was in a very quite comfortable position. I wasn't scared. I liked to fly. I wasn't scared. I had complete confidence in our ability to get to Sioux Falls. And yet here I was going up into the clouds, looking down on this magnificent city, and before I knew it, looking down on the tops of clouds. And it dawned on me that 250 years ago, the people who started this country in 1776, and all the people who lived during that time, couldn't even imagine what I was doing. I mean, they didn't even have cars. They certainly didn't have iPhones or anything like that. They didn't have cars. They couldn't imagine. They would have thought they were in some sort of a dream. To imagine that somebody, a human being, could be catapulted into the air and get such distance in such a short time in such a safe manner, and to be able to look down upon cities and be able, it would have been incomprehensible. And so I realized, as they would have been in awe and wonder of that, maybe I should take the time to be in more awe and wonder of that feat that I was taking part in, and that people all around the world take part in multiple times every day. I mean, can you imagine the number of flights that leave this planet's cities every day? And we do that, and we've taken it for granted. I know I've taken it for granted. But it made me stop and wonder and awe at that. So to take it a little bit further, the point of my extra point today is maybe we should be doing that more often with just even everyday things. Every day I get into a car at some point and travel, and that in and of itself is a cool thing when you think about where that travel was even 100 years ago. The fact that I'm speaking to you right now in a little box like this wasn't even imaginable 30 years ago. Somebody on my LinkedIn, when I posted my extra points, made the comment, hey, the fact that we can be any place, anywhere in the world in real time, that is something that we should be in awe and wonder about. And the fact that I'm doing this and that people are going to be able to watch it later, and it's not even hard. Heck, like I said, not even 30 years ago. How about 20 years ago? How about 10 years ago? Things are changing dramatically, and we should not just take them for granted, but really look and say, what a world we live in. And it makes you wonder where we're going as well. One of the Daves made a comment. He liked my reference to Back to the Future, because I said, holy flux capacitor. And for those of you who might remember that the very first Back to the Future is exactly 30 years ago. It was 1985. And that seems so strange because I remember going to the movie theaters and watching it several times. In fact, my then girlfriend, soon to be wife, worked at the theaters, and I think I got in free a few times to watch that futuristic show. And here we are 30 years later. 1985 was when the first one came out. And so, you know, what on wonder is coming up in the future? And maybe even this, what are you creating that is awesome and wondrous in your business, in your career, in your life, with your family, with your friends, with the communities that you do things with? Just yesterday, my Rotary Club, we were part of putting together a brand new bicycling event. And we had live music, we had beer, and we had, of course, cycling. And there was a lot of things that we were able to do that helps us raise money to give out to people who are not as fortunate as we are. And we use a lot of technology, and we used a lot of new things and ideas to make it happen. In fact, one of the things was using a base camp for all of us to be able to do project management together in real time. Unheard of before. So that's my point for today is take a little time. I know you've heard the proverbial stop and smell the roses. And that's, you know, I guess if you want to think that's what I'm doing here, maybe it is. But it's not so much as smelling the roses, but be awestruck by some of the things that we have going on. And what is it that you can do to become awesome and wondrous to the people that you serve, to the people that you give value to, and even to your family, even to your friends, the people, the relationships in your lives. That's part of living and part of thriving in life and part of taking advantage of the world we live in. So I've got some things up here. It looks like most of them were from before. This is your time to bring in some questions or comments. I'd be happy to take them. By the way, you notice Captain Jack's not here. He's in the bedroom sleeping. Apparently, he's taking the day off. I understand Canada has some holiday today. I don't know what it is, but maybe he thinks he's Canadian. So let me see. I've answered that one. I've answered that. One of the days said, you and President Obama in South Dakota. I didn't know. Maybe is he there now? I don't know. I don't know if he was there last week. That wasn't top of the news, at least over in Sioux Falls. Let's see. I think I'm caught up. So if you have any questions or comments, now's the time to bring them in. Again, just a reminder that I will be doing this again next week. Next week is Memorial Day. It'll either be Monday or Tuesday. I promise to give you plenty of heads up notice on that. Another thing that I'll just mention really quickly is that I'm working feverishly on my new and improved website. It's going to be terrific. I'm really excited about the work that my team has done with that, and we're continuing to do. And so hopefully that'll be up next week and you'll have a chance to look at that. Let me see here. I thought I saw something come in. Maybe I did not. Okay. I only see the ones there that I saw from before. So anyway, just a reminder that we live in a tremendous world with great opportunities. I think every age has that, and every age has continued to grow and build on itself. When we look at what we have in health and technology and safety and all of that, some of those are great things. Now, they bring with them some challenges. Everything new has some sort of a consequence as well as a result to it. And so we have new problems that arise because of things like that. But we shouldn't be worried. We shouldn't be afraid. We should look at opportunities. And we should take the time to think and to absorb all of that and to observe and make observations. Many of you ask me, those of you especially that I work and coach with, I see some things coming that I work and coach with, how do I come up with things to write about or speak about? Well, I try to observe, and in that moment, I'm fortunate that I was observant. In fact, I was so observant that I realized that I might forget it, that I actually typed that as I was sitting in that seat and moved it into my template later on. But be observant and be in awe of things. Let me see here. San Diego, apparently President Obama finally hit San Diego, or San Diego, SD is South Dakota. My apologies to my new friends in South Dakota. It was the 50th state to visit. Well, it was my 27th. So he was ahead of me. It's my 27th, and that's over the course of 50 years. Let's see here. Was there anything else? Oh, any tips on drawing the line between smelling the roses and being productive? Yes. Dave Clark asks, any tips on drawing the lines between smelling the roses and being productive? My example is perfect. I didn't really, you don't really stop and smell the roses. You are observant and you are aware of what's around you, and you allow yourself to be in awe and wonder at these cool things, and then you do something about it. So as I'm sitting up there, I didn't just daydream all the way the next hour and a half to Chicago. I actually pulled out my phone, and which I can now use. I can now use without on the planes they fly. But I pulled out my phone, and in the notes section, I typed in my extra points. So not only was I smelling the roses, so to speak, and in awe and wonder, but I took and put it into action. Your observations you can take and put into action. What is it that you see today or seen today or might see later that causes you to stop and think and ponder? And it's something that might attract your attention, might make you mad. I'll give you an example. I watch a television show called Elementary on CBS, and without giving away the cliffhanger, I didn't like it. It made me angry. It actually made me angry. And then I realized, I sat and thought about it. And this isn't smelling the roses, but it's an observation. I started thinking, well, why does it make me angry? That's kind of silly. Well, the reason it made me angry is because something happened with a character that I liked. And I didn't like that it happened. And I realized, well, that's the job of the writers to do. Their job is to make you have an emotion for somebody and then feel for them. Well, that's exactly, the feeling was anger. That's okay. It's better than apathy. So they did their job. Now, what I can think of in awe and wonder is these people, they don't just write things up. They put some effort and time in their job, and what they did was very awesome. At first, I didn't like it, but now I truly appreciate it because of that awe and wonder. How am I using it? Now I'm using it in this video, which I'm sure they'd love if they knew I was doing it. But I'm using this video to craft a point. So Dave, what I would say is be observant. Stop and really smell the roses when you're on vacation and you're taking time off and you're giving yourself the right to relax. But I'm also saying observe things around you on a constant basis and then do something. If you are a consultant or an author or a speaker, take these and use them as stories. If you are offering some other type of professional advice, I think you can do the same thing. There's something in your world that you can do. You can share it either personally or professionally and put something into action. This isn't about daydreaming or wasting time. This is about being observant and then taking the time to be moved by it, to be moved to the point of, man, that was really cool, or I can't believe that I'm actually doing this, and enjoying the moment. So that's really it. It's okay. Enjoying the moment and being productive work on parallel planes if you allow them to. I hope that helped, Dave. Let me see here. Anything else? Anything else? This is your chance to bring this on back in. I've waxed poetic here for about 16 minutes, and that's about all I have for right now. So I'm going to give you one last chance to put that in. What I will remind you is my website is www.danweedin.com. Dan@danweedin.com is where you can email me. I'm always happy to hear from you and to get your responses to this. You might be watching it later. All of my videos are on my YouTube channel, danweedin.tv. The plan is to be back next week at some point, maybe Monday for Memorial Day. Maybe I'll do a Memorial Day special. That sounds like it might be fun. And if not, then I'll do Tuesday, because the following week I will be gone on vacation smelling the roses in Palm Springs. Maybe they won't have roses there. Maybe they'll just have sun. But that's where I'll be in a couple of weeks. So with that, I want to thank you. I don't think I have anything else here. I want to thank everybody who joined me today, either live or you're watching it later. I appreciate you, and I appreciate, and I'm in awe and wonder of your continued support of me. For now, that's it. I look forward to seeing you at the next Weedin Unleashed. Looks like next week. You'll hear from me soon. It's when that is. Until then, ciao.